I am about to tell you is going to make every single car enthusiast in the United States absolutely lose their minds with jealousy. The news just dropped. Canada, yes, polite, maple syrup-loving Canada, has apparently decided to completely open the floodgates. They removed the tariffs, they opened the doors, and now they are getting the single most advanced, futuristic, mind-bending electric luxury sedan on the face of the planet. It's called the NIO ET9. And while we are stuck here arguing about charging networks and panel gaps, Canada is about to buy a car that can literally, and I am not making this up, shake itself, like a wet dog to get snow off the windshield. You heard me right. This car has a feature where if it snows overnight, which, let's be honest, is the entire personality of Canada, you don't have to go out there with your little scraper and freeze your fingers off. You press a button and the car's active suspension engages, vibrating the entire chassis to shake the snow off the roof and windshield. It is the biggest flex I have ever seen in automotive history. Imagine walking out to your driveway. Your neighbor is struggling with his ice scraper, looking miserable, and you just sip your coffee, hit a button on your phone, and your car does a little shimmy and cleans itself. And you look at your neighbor with a smirk. It is insulting to every other car on the road, and I absolutely love it. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. Pun intended, because this thing is so technologically come ahead, a Tesla Model S Plaid starts feeling like a flip phone from the Bush administration. Let's talk about the face of this thing, because my God, it is aggressive. It doesn't look like a car. It looks like a predator that just landed from the year 2050 to eat your crossover for breakfast. The front end has this Landjet aesthetic that NIO talks about, and I finally get it. It's sleek, it's aerodynamic, but it's not soft. The headlights are these razor-thin, double-dash, daytime running lights that look like narrowed eyes staring right into your soul. And below that, you've got the actual matrix LED units hidden away, capable of projecting patterns, warnings, and probably movies if you hack them enough. But look closer, right there, above the windshield. That isn't a taxi sign, that is the watchtower sensor layout. You have a high-definition LiDAR unit and two high-res cameras mounted on the roofline. Usually, LiDAR bumps look like ugly pimples on a car, but here it looks like military hardware. It looks like it's scanning for enemy aircraft. It gives the car this cybernetic RoboCop vibe that says, I see everything, moving to the side profile. This is where the sheer scale of the ET9 hits you like a freight train. This is not a small car, guys. This is a flagship. It is over 5.3 meters long. It is massive. It has a wheelbase that spans over 3.2 meters, which is just absurd. But the way they designed it, it doesn't look like a boat. It looks like a spaceship preparing for warp speed. The silhouette is this fastback coupe shape, but it rides high, almost like a crossover, giving it this commanding presence that you usually only get in SUVs. And the wheels. You are looking at massive 23-inch wheels, 23 inches on a sedan. And get this, the center caps are weighted like a Rolls-Royce. They stay upright when the wheels spin. That is the level of pettiness and detail we are dealing with here. They are basically saying anything Rolls-Royce can do, we can do, but with lasers. The door handles are completely flush, popping out only when you approach. And the doors themselves are smart electric doors. You don't pull them, you press a button and radar. Sensors check for obstacles before swinging them open for you like you're royalty. And then you get to the rear and it's just a mic drop. The active rear spoiler is integrated so smoothly, you don't even know it's there until it deploys at speed to generate downforce. The taillight is this solid, seamless bar of crimson light that stretches across the entire width, looking like a lightsaber. It's mesmerizing. But the stance is what gets me. From the back, with those wide hips and massive tires, it looks planted. It looks ready to launch. It makes our domestic luxury sedans look a little bit anorexic. I'm sorry, but it does. The fit and finish are terrifyingly good. I'm running my hand along these panel gaps and they are laser precise. There is no wiggle room. This is German-level build quality with Silicon Valley software. And it's terrifying that we can't buy this in the States. Canada, do you realize? How lucky you are. You guys get poutine in this? Unfair. Now, let's crack open the engineering, because this is where my brain genuinely starts to hurt. The NIO ET9 is built on a 900-volt architecture. Most EVs you buy today are 400 volts. The really good ones, like the Taycan or the Ioniq 5, are 800 volts. NIO said, "Hold my beer," and went to 900 volts. What does that mean for you? It means lighter wiring, more efficiency, and charging speeds that are frankly illegal. This thing can peak charge at 600 kilowatts. 600. To put that in perspective, a Tesla supercharger usually maxes out around 250 kilowatts. This car can add 255 kilometers of range. That's like 160 miles in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That is a bathroom break. By the time you walk into the gas station, buy a bag of chips, and walk out, you are ready to drive for another 2 hours. Range anxiety? It's dead. It's buried. It's gone. And the motors. Oh man, the motors. You have a dual motor setup, obviously. In the front, you have an induction motor, and in the rear, a permanent magnet motor. Combined, they're pushing out over 700 horsepower. But it's not just about the power, it's the packaging. NIO calls it the Thunderbolt powertrain, which sounds like an attack from Pokemon, but it's actually a marvel of engineering. The motors are smaller, lighter, and more power-dense than almost anything else on the market. This giant luxury barge moves like a sports car. And because it has rear-wheel steering with a massive turning angle, this 5.3-meter behemoth turns tighter than a Mini Cooper. You can U-turn this land yacht on a narrow street, and people will stop and clap. But the real magic, the thing that makes the snow shake possible, is the chassis. They call it the Skyride Intelligent Chassis System. This is the world's first fully active suspension with steer-by-wire and rear-wheel steering, all integrated. The suspension doesn't just react to bumps, it anticipates them. NIO released a video of this car driving over speed bumps with a tower of champagne glasses on the hood, and the liquid didn't even ripple. The wheels were going crazy, bouncing up and down, but the body of the car was perfectly flat. It looked like a glitch in the Matrix. And yes, that same system allows for the party trick, where the car vibrates at high frequency to shake off snow. It's practical for Canada, sure, but let's be real. It's mostly just to show off to your friends that your car is alive. Safety is another area where NIO is just embarrassing everyone. We talk about 5-star safety ratings. This car is aiming for like 10 stars. The chassis torsional stiffness is 52,500 Newton meters per degree. If you aren't an engineer, let me translate. This car is built like a bank vault. It is stiffer than most supercars. If you get into a crash in this car, the other car is going to regret it. It has 7 airbags, including a central airbag to stop the driver and passenger from bonking heads. But the goal of this car is to never crash in the first place. That LiDAR I mentioned, it can see obstacles 500 meters away in pitch black darkness. The computer processing all this data is the ADAM2 supercomputer, capable of over 1,000 trillion operations per second. Your laptop is a potato compared to the brain in this car. It is constantly building a 3D model of the world around you, tracking pedestrians, other cars, cyclists, and probably stray moose. Because, you know, Canada. Okay, take a breath. No, seriously, take a deep breath. Because we need to talk about the interior. If you thought the outside was cool, the inside is going to make you want to sell your house and live in this car. NIO calls this the executive bridge, and I swear I feel underdressed just sitting here. I should be wearing a tuxedo, or at least a suit that costs more than my entire camera setup. First off, look at the dashboard, or rather, look at what isn't there. There is no traditional instrument cluster. Gone, deleted. Instead, you have this insane digital strip that runs along the entire base of the windshield called the skyline screen. It's 1.4 meters long. It displays everything: speed, navigation, safety warnings right in your peripheral vision. And if that wasn't enough, you have the Sapphire Full Focus AR HUD. This isn't a normal heads-up display. that shows you a little number floating on the road. This thing projects a 120-inch equivalent image that looks like it's floating 15 meters ahead of the car. It's like playing a video game in real life. You see arrows painted on the actual asphalt, highlighting the lane you need to be in. It is pure sci-fi. But the steering wheel. Wait, I can't even call it a wheel. It's a yoke. It's rectangular. And because this car uses a fully digital steer-by-wire system, there is no physical column connecting it to the wheels. It floats. And get this, the steering ratio changes based on your speed. At low speeds, you only have to turn it slightly less than one full turn, lock to make a U-turn. No more hand-over-hand flailing like you're driving a bus. You turn your wrist and the car pivots. It feels telepathic. And the coolest party trick? When you engage autonomous driving or park to charge, the pointy-7 steering wheel literally retracts into the dashboard. It folds away. It vanishes to give you more space. It is the most Minority Report thing I have ever seen. Why do we not have this in America? Why am I still holding on to a round plastic wheel connected to a metal stick? Like a caveman? The center screen is a 15.6-inch AMOLED beauty, sharp as a tack, floating in the center. But honestly, the driver is just a chauffeur here. The real luxury, the real I made it energy, is in the back. Welcome to first class. These aren't car seats. These are private jet suites. You have 2 individual seats, not a bench, separated by a massive center console. These seats can recline up to 45 degrees. 45 degrees, you are practically lying flat. Most luxury cars give you maybe 30 degrees if you're lucky. And the adjustment? 24 ways. 24. I didn't even know there were 24 distinct parts of my back. But this car knows, and it supports all of them. And let's talk about the massage. This isn't that weak vibration stuff you get in a Ford Explorer. This is a hot stone massage. The car actually mimics the sensation of heated stones rolling down your spine. It is absolutely decadent. I am melting. I might fall asleep right now during this review. Now look up. Running down the middle of the glass roof is the Sky Island. It's this gorgeous, floating console with ambient lighting that looks like a digital waterfall cascading down the prominence center of the car. It houses the controls for the heavy-duty electric blinds. And speaking of lighting, the ambient light system here has 5 layers of diffusion. It doesn't look like LED. It's strips stuck on plastic. It looks like the car is glowing from within. And entertainment. Get ready to be angry at your home theater. This car has 2 14.5-inch OLED screens mounted on the back of the front seats. OLED, the blacks are perfect, the colors pop, and you can stream Netflix, YouTube, whatever you want. But the sound, oh my God, the sound. This is the NIO Lyra system. It has 35 speakers, 35, including speakers inside the headrests. It pumps out 2,800 watts of power. For context, a high-end Burmester system in a Mercedes usually has around 1,500 watts. This is nearly double. It supports Dolby Atmos 7.1.4. I turned the volume up halfway, and I felt the bass in my bone marrow. It is a concert hall on wheels. But here is the ultimate flex. You know how Rolls-Royce has those little flimsy tray tables that rattle around? In the ET9, you press a button, and the massive executive table unfolds electrically from the center console. It is sturdy, 360-degree adjustable, and rock solid. You could type a novel on this thing. You could eat a steak dinner on this thing. And speaking of dinner, look at the center console again. There's a smart, power-open fridge. Most car fridges are just glorified coolers that keep your soda slightly cool. This is a compressor fridge. It goes from -2 degrees Celsius all the way up to 55 degrees Celsius. It can freeze ice, or it can keep your takeout warm. And it opens electrically with a slide gesture on the control screen. It holds 10 liters. That's 2 bottles of champagne, easily. So, picture this. You're in Canada. It's snowing outside. You're reclining at 45 degrees in your Napa leather zero-gravity seat. You have a hot stone massage working on your lower back. You're watching a movie on a 14.5-inch OLED screen with 2,800 watts of surround sound enveloping you. You reach into your electric fridge, pull out a perfectly chilled drink, and set it on your executive table. Meanwhile, the car is driving itself through a blizzard and literally shaking the snow off the roof automatically. What is life? Seriously, what are we doing in the US? We're driving cars that feel like ox carts compared to this. This isn't just luxury, this is humiliating for the competition. If you're a Mercedes executive watching this, I am so sorry. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, this sounds expensive. This sounds like $1 million. And honestly, it feels like $1 million. If this had a European badge on it, if this was a Mercedes Maybach or a Rolls-Royce Ghost, it would cost $300,000 easy, maybe $400,000. But this is NIO. In China, the pre-sale price is around 800,000 RMB. Convert that directly, and it's about $110,000. Let's say with import fees and taxes for Canada, maybe it hits $150,000. Canadian or something. Do you realize how insane that is? For the price of a well-spec'd S-Class or a base Porsche Taycan, you're getting a car that out-techs, out-comforts, and outperforms almost anything on the road. It's a bargain. I can't believe I'm calling a six-figure car a bargain, but it is. It makes the competition look like they're stealing your money. So, here's the question that's going to keep me up at night. Would you buy this? If you had the cash, would you skip the S-Class, skip the 7 Series, skip the Lucid Air, and go for the Chinese flagship that can dance in the snow? Because honestly, looking at this spec sheet, looking at the luxury, looking at that ridiculous charging speed, I think you'd be crazy not to. The legacy automakers should be terrified. They should be sweating, because if this is what 2025 looks like for NIO, imagine what they're going to do in 2030. Canada, you win this round. You win big. Enjoy your futuristic, snow-shaking land jets, while I drive my boring car back to my boring house in the boring USA. This has been Wheel Factor, and I am officially signing off to go cry into my passport. If you enjoyed this video, or if you're just as jealous as I am, smash that like button until it breaks. Subscribe so you don't miss the next time I have a mental breakdown over a car we can't. Boy, comment below. Is the snow shake a gimmick or the greatest feature ever invented? I read every comment. Until next time, drive safe. In Canada, please send one down for a review. I'll hide it in my garage. I promise. Peace.